Hello. Okay. Um Let me say hi to everybody. Oh, there are new features. Ah. There are Halloween overlays. From wait a minute. It's like okay. I'm just having fun. Uh, okay, hi. All right. I just saw that they implemented new stuff. Okay, let me say hi to everybody. Happy Monday, Kate, Carla, Alicia, BTS 7 plus 1, Marie, Purple Jimmy, Darren. Oh, is that Darren? AJ, AJC Lucky 2010. Fire Butterfly, Leia, Kathleen, Angel Star, Z Arashi. Is that the Arashi Japanese boy band? Shelling, Warren, Carmi, Pizza Hut. Let me go live on Instagram. I keep on forgetting this. Okay. Oh, everyone. Sylvia, Leia, Reg Peer, Maritz, Gemini, Linax, Nancy, Kate Day, Lynn, Shadow, OSP, Onitopia, Pia, Sambelben, Pia, Halina, GDZ, TLT. Oh, there's some new names. Boma, Dynamite, Nigma Price, J Lau, Kathy, Apple, Carla Girl, MLB, Mama Ja, Z, Coogie from Twitch. Maria, Summer 6, Celeste is also on Twitch. A Brown, Aid Banks, Sam Jones or a different Sam? Ronan, C Mag, Three Lunatic Devils, Celeste, Elaine, good evening. Ileana, Kathy, Carmi, Dawn, Lorena, Carmen. Hi. How is everybody? How was your weekend? And are you having a good Carmen Bangluna. Hi. Are you all having a great Monday? I know you all are going to be very excited with CK's campaign. It's so different, right? I think I've mentioned when I discussed last time that Jungkook's campaign, I feel like the current campaign of CK is more attuned to Jungkook's brand. I'm sure that you've seen many of the CK campaigns before. They're very not basic, I guess, very classic. This is the first time they're kind of doing a campaign like this because if you look at their historical campaigns before, I mean, the history of their campaigns, it's always very centered on the body. So they show a lot of skin because they're selling primarily their biggest products are really the underwear or the lingerie. And so and in the last live stream I discussed how CK has this branding where they keep their focus on the basic product that they have, which, as I've said, the largest share is the underwear. And so it's understandable that when they do their campaigns, it's a lot of body, right? A lot of the skin. Not necessarily, there's a lot of like very close to the edge. when it comes to how sexy it is, but they've never been that vulgar. They've shown more, and they've been a little bit more daring as time passes by. But this is the first time where I've actually seen them start a campaign where they're not showing any kind of skin. It's so I'm not saying that they are not gonna show any kind of skin. I'm just saying that this is the first time I'm seeing them do a campaign like this where I feel they went closer to the branding of Jungkook more than having Jungkook come close to their branding. Wanna go? Mm, no. It was actually on the edge of sleeping. Okay. So I feel it's kind of different just because, as I've said, this is the first time they're doing something like this. So I'm very excited. So it's going to be released tomorrow. Didn't someone on here say JK should be on a motorcycle? Her, I did. I said they should be. So yeah, I feel like they're coming. It's a little closer to his branding. Um, so I'm happy. I'm happy that they kind of they really are. Jungkook has a very strong brand. Probably the strongest, one of the strongest globally among celebrities. And so I'm happy that CK is sort of leveraging that brand over, again, just integrating Jungkook into what they usually do, right? Because it's usually like just showing off the, if you go to, even up to now, like if you go to their website, it's a lot of skin, a lot of posing, sexy poses, and you can, and I understand they're trying to sell underwear. So this is the first time where it's actually just Jungkook riding a motorcycle. I'm sure there's a body double. You don't want to um at some point they probably used a body double. You don't want to risk him getting an injury or something. So, but this is the first time they've actually done something like this. I'm so proud that Jungkook is actually making them go outside of their like bubble and try something new. The strongest brand, but he has nothing to do with it. CK is very lucky. The strongest brand, but he does nothing with it. Well, it's not that he hasn't done anything with it. It's just that number one, he hasn't had the time to really explore it. Remember, up until before they enlisted in the military, they were very, very focused on OT7 activities. And I was actually discussing this with someone the other day, but it actually played to their advantage in the long run that they were so focused on doing OT7 things. Like all of their brand partnerships have always been prior to going solo, they have always been OT7. A lot of people don't know that as far as 2017, 2018, there were already brands that wanted to work with them individually. Okay. Okay, baby. You say hi first. Say hi. You say hi. I'm here. I'm here. Okay, let me hide my name so that they can see you. Oh, sorry. Hi. 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 They're saying hi to you, baby. Okay. Oh, you see? They're saying hi to you. Because the last time you didn't say hi to them. Well, you did, but it was like towards the end. So, what was I saying? So a lot of people don't know that as early as 2018, like there were a lot of brands who wanted to work with them already. But the problem was that because they were so focused on doing OT7 activities, that kind of limits the types of brand they can work with. For you to be able to pay the fee of 7 men versus just one, you're going to have to be like a really, really big company. So that played to their advantage because early on they forged partnerships with big brands, those that can actually afford them. So Samsung, Hyundai, what's this other appliance brand that they have? So that played to their advantage. And then the other thing is that they were able to really hone their brand as a group, primarily their bankability. So everyone knows that they have the golden touch. Like anything that they touch can they can really sell it out. So that played to their advantage. When it was time for them to be able to do something individually, they had a lot of leverage. And so they were able to ask for a lot of money in the long run. And I've said this many, many times before that there are certain idols right now who are very, very much underpaid because they start their partnerships early individually. So not that they didn't benefit from their partnerships. It's just that compared to what they could have gotten based on the kind of media value that they provide, they could have gotten more had they waited just a little bit. But as I've said, it's fine because they also benefit from those partnerships from different brands. And so for BTS and specifically for Jungkook, he wasn't really, even after, you would all of you would remember this, that he said he wasn't really interested in doing anything solo when they took their break because he was really enjoying just being able to rest. And he's been grinding it since he was 14, 15. It's natural for him to want to rest. But then when time came for him to get that chance to work individually, I think you already kind of know the type of brand he has in his mind. um, and he's discussed that many times before. So yeah, I think it's not that because he's not doing anything with it. It's just that number one, in the first decade of his career, he really find he it was a strategic decision. And then when they had the chance to individually work, they were about to enlist in the military. So, but I think now having a campaign like this, if he can demonstrate, and I'm sure he can, it's not a question. If he can demonstrate the kind of sales power he can pull for CK, then he will be able to use that as a leverage for any type of partnership you may want to pursue in the future. Okay. Okay. So um, let me see. Do you have questions before we do our topic? So we're gonna talk about, we have news and updates. We have RM speaking at the APEC. Are you proud? I'm so proud. I'm so proud of RM. And then we have BTS concert. This is actually in reaction to Bloomberg and some more research that I did. And then we're also going to talk about Ador, which and the decision is gonna come on Thursday. So, all right, let me see if you have questions. Please, Suga and Jimin, come. You know what? I think they're just very busy. Do you remember that those two members? One of the things that they mentioned was that they are more involved now. Like every member is actually more involved in the writing and the creation process of their next album, the planning of their next concert, and the size of their next concert is really amazing. So I think they're very busy with that. And then also remember, these two are very active in their charities and they also have their businesses, many of which we will never know. And it's really none of our business. So I think they're just busy. So I think they will once your puppy is so cute. They said you're so cute, Dabak. Okay, I think I might shock he might shock us all, you mean? Dabak looking sweet as ever. They said you're sweet. Mm. I need some Jimin and Sugar. My heart is hurting. I can't wait. But okay, he wanted to be a rock. Okay. So do we think we will have a Suga sighting this weekend for Jin's concert? Maybe. I to a certain degree, there's always that notion that they might want Jin. Maybe in the audience, he did watch him the last time. I don't think they will perform together as seven until the comeback. I do feel they are going to give us something this Christmas. I don't know what that is going to be, but some sort of a gift. It could be a live stream or it could be just a song or whatever. But I think they're going to give us something this Christmas. I'm glad that JK had a chance to relax and have fun. True. Okay. Fairlane, did you see the post from the army at the Vogue Hollywood event who reconnected with Te after 11 years? In 2014, she was the only fan in her school. What a full circle moment for her. Yeah, I saw it. She was so lucky and I'm so happy for her. 11 years. Wow, she's still a fan. That's an OT. That's an OG. But yeah, I think and I also feel it was so sweet of Te to actually step out of the Paramount. So the event was very close to where I am. Very, very close. In fact, Debak and I, when he was very young, because I really have to like use up his energy when he was very young, we would walk all the way to that area. So from where I am all the way there, I would walk. It's not much. I think it'll take us like an hour and a half, including his stops, like he would smell and stuff like that. So an hour and a half going there and then an hour and a half. We're a little faster going back because then he stops less. So yeah, an hour and a half, an hour 45 from where I am all the way there. And so yesterday, I went to the park to take him, and I passed by. So I saw some of the armies. Well, the armies that went to support him. I did not see him though. I didn't see him come out. I should have sort of went around. But okay, so yeah, so there I saw them. I saw some of the armies there. But it was very sweet of him to actually come out and give the flowers to the armies. And he stayed there for a while. I think he wanted armies to be able to take pictures of him because he was just like outside standing there and just looking at the crowd. So I think he wanted to see armies and wanting to give armies a chance to take his picture, which I think was very, very sweet of him. It was like, okay, just go take my picture. Okay, I'm glad that Jay had a chance. It makes sense that Jin does more as he hasn't gotten as many writing credits and album sales. His face card is never declined. He did okay. Writing credits and albums, so he did okay. My first time hopping into an AEC live. Oh, okay. Hi, internet user 37. Hi, Robin Carr. We're just starting. Okay, so where do you want let's start with do you want to start with some with the negative first and then, and then work our way into positive things. I think so too. Paramount Studio is right across to where I live. Oh, you're very close to me then. So yeah, did you see them? A Christmas gift exchange. I hope that I know that V wanted to do Run BTS. He said he wanted to shoot Run BTS. I hope there's like a Christmas special, just a return for them, maybe. Maybe one or two members. Usually there's like one or two members who would release a single. So I hope that happens. But I feel like they're going to give us something for Christmas. I just don't know what it is. He was the first Korean at the event and also love how he wore a modernized hanbok. Plus the watch he wore, he shows how much pride for his country. So I think he's the first Korean celebrity. He's not the first Korean to attend, but like the first Korean celebrities. There have been like Korean designers and stuff like that, but he's the first Korean celebrity to attend. Um, so and then I'm not a fashion expert, so I don't usually like my I have a lot of questions. Like I think I asked on Patreon, like, is this the right? I don't even know what is a perfect fit for a guy. Like, so, yeah, but he actually it wasn't Celine. He didn't wear Celine. It was I'm gonna talk about it later in news and updates. But it was another designer, so which I thought was very interesting. I think that is a Korean designer that he's wearing, and that's probably his reason because he wanted to promote Korean aesthetics, which I think he was spot on. So, okay. Okay, so let's do negative first. And then let's work our way into positive things. I think that's the best. Okay, wait. There you go. Yes, Jin, that's okay. But RM and Suga just make more with writing credits, you mean. Okay. So yeah, in terms of writing credits, I mean it's pretty obvious. It's just RM, Suga and J Hope. Yeah. Is the negative about MHJ opening the agency really bad timing? Doesn't this prove what Hybe has been saying? I just not like what he was wearing. Oh, you didn't like what he was wearing. I think there is because initially I also was like, I said, is this I'm not a fashion expert, so do not use don't ever quote me on anything that's I'm not reliable. But initially, it's like I kind of already knew that he was channeling their handbook. That is very clear to me. I just felt like there's something wrong in my eyes, not objectively because I'm not an expert. And then I realized it's the placement of the belt because the hanbok, the traditional Korean hanbok, the belt is higher. It's right below the chest. That's where you usually put the belt. Now, because this is modern, so he was probably modernizing it. So that's one. And then I actually did a search on like long trench coats for guys and how they usually wear it. It's very rare that they close it, by the way. It's usually open. That's one of the things that I realized. But then I remember the Saja boys because that's kind of similar to what he was wearing, which is a traditional hanbok. And I realized that usually they make it a point to shape the the waist. And so his belt was like a little lower. It's on the hips, but it's not tight. Um and so I think that was like what I thought was off. But I'm not an expert. So I was like, oh, maybe that's just the styling. It's still good though. It's still good. But I think initially that's what I was looking for because I'm used to seeing the belt higher, like just below the chests. And then his was lower. But it could be like an aesthetics choice. Um K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah, the Saja boys. So that's why that was what I initially checked right away. It did not look good on him. No, well, I guess it's, the thing about fashion is that it is subjective. But I saw a lot of like professional designers really liking it. So I get, yeah, fashion is subjective. So there's no right or wrong answer. And again, I'm not an expert, so I'm not really qualified to talk about it. Okay, let's go to the Min Hee-jin case. So there were reports about 32 intellectuals who submitted a petition encouraging Bang Shi-yuk to sell the to actually sell new jeans to a third party. That is the concession that they're trying to make. So I guess the sort of logic for them, oh, Bang Luna, hello. I guess the logic for them is that selling it to a third party would would let the, because remember that the main question to a lot of people is that this is going to be a precedent for future cases, right? So if the court sides with new jeans, a lot of people don't like that because because they're pro new jeans for whatever reason. But then if the court sides with Ador, and but also it's going to set a precedent in the business side, because then many investors are going to say and feel that their interest will not be protected in South Korea, and so they don't want, they wouldn't invest anymore. But then if they don't side with if they side with Hybe, then they're going to take away the chance of New Jeans to pursue a career, which is not really true. But anyway, and so the concession that this 32 intellectuals, quote unquote, is saying is that if the court just says, okay, just sell the contract to a third party, then that's going to sort of let Hybe save face, but also not set a precedent, still will, but that's their logic. So anyway, the questionable thing is that I don't know how they actually define intellectuals, but that is their claim, that there are 32 intellectuals who submitted. And then there's another wave of um, viral reverse marketing happening because there's suddenly an onslaught of fan pages, and this is just on X, but it is happening on many forums in South Korea. And allegedly these are US fan bases of different groups like NMIX, ESPA, ITZY, Baby Monster twice, expressing that they are supporting new jeans. Now, a lot of people feel this is because, as everybody knows, a huge chunk of the fan base of many hype artists, including BTS, LE SSERAFIM, they're actually coming from the US. In the next live stream, I'm going to show you the share, their fan share, market share, which countries are biggest per artist. And so they are realizing that there isn't a lot of effect if they target Korean fan bases, because majority of the fans of hype artists are coming from outside of Korea, which I think is strategic. We've discussed that because Hybe is targeting the US market, not necessarily the South Korean market. And so the propaganda, the strategy is now to make it appear as if it's the US fan bases, Western fan bases that are supporting New Jeans. So they're making it appear as if the support um the fans are coming from the US. Okay. So this is like a state one of the many posts that they've made, that these are fan bases of those artists coming from US, Europe and stuff like that. And then right after this post, so Twice is there listed. Gio, the leader of Twice, had a direct interaction with Yoonjin. She commented uh Gio commented on the post of Yoonjin saying, "I want to eat it too." Spaghetti. She was referring to the spaghetti. And then Yoonjin responded and said, "Oh, Ani, let's eat it together. Let's have a meal together, basically." So obviously the groups don't know anything about this. They themselves are friends with Le Seraphim. Also, Le Seraphim, this collaboration between Le Seraphim and J Hope, they're breaking records, but we'll get to that later. Okay. So, and then another development is that Hani sued one of the many commenters who sort of criticized her appearance to the National Assembly. So there was this one fan who posted something like, what are you how you going to the National Assembly, how is that going to benefit me? Why are you going there? How is that going to benefit the interest of a Korean?" And she sued that person. She didn't even curse. Like that's what she said, asked basically, like, how is this gonna benefit a Korean national? And so that was like she sued the person, went after the person, and it was going to go into trial, and then the court dismissed the case. So now they're claiming that they actually reached a settlement, but there was no apology. The other party didn't pay. And so it seems that Hani just decided, okay, I'm going to drop the case. And a lot of people are speculating it's because it's going to expose her statement, the things that she said in the National Assembly, to scrutiny. And so she felt it was better to just dismiss it because she doesn't want to get scrutinized. Okay. Because remember, she changed her statement several times. Okay. And then another thing is that the investor, the one who bought the building under a loan, the building that um, the new company of Min Hee Jin is going to use, is a Chinese national. And so a lot of Koreans are questioning this. Obviously, they don't have a very good impression of the Chinese. And so her going to a Chinese investor, she feels like, you know, but although there are a lot of Chinese investors that are already in South Korea. Okay, how is that a lawsuit? I know it's crazy. So okay, and then so there are different opinions. The decision will be handed down on Thursday, and there are different legal opinions. All of these are just opinions. The one thing though, one thing I realized is that this is not getting as much attention as it used to, although it could be because the decision hasn't been handed out yet. But it calls. Are you okay, baby? You want to go? Okay. You say bye bye. You say bye. Bye. Fine, fine. Thanks, boy, boy. He's thinking. Okay, you want to go down? Okay. Why would MHJ announce it now? Seems like it proves Hype's case that she has been plotting for a long time. So the theory is that she wanted to mess with the release of J Hope and Le Seraphim because it happened the same day when they released the single with the album. She released the statement. In fact, she was heavily criticized in many forums. It was like, oh, it's the same old trick. Like if whenever any hype group does something, she would do something else. So that's the theory. That is not proven, but that's their theory. Debak is tired of the shenanigans. So okay, so there are different opinions, and I don't know what's going to happen. One thing I do feel though is that I am less. Maybe it's because we're nearing the comeback of BTS, so my head space is on a different level now. It's in a different space. Um, but I'm less concerned about this than I used to be because I'm like, I just really want BTS to be back. Okay, so the Korean legal titan team said that in their opinion, the court is going to decide in favor of Ador in this first case. And they are saying first case because that for sure if the court doesn't favor, well, actually regardless of who the court favors, there is going to be an appeal. The difference is that if the court favors New Jeans in any shape or form, they are going to continue their work. But if the court favors Ador, then New Jeans won't be able to continue working. So, regardless of what's going to happen, both parties, either party, whoever loses, quote unquote, will actually appeal. So they're saying that the outcome of the lawsuit is expected to have significant impact beyond New Jeans agency and significantly alter the legal and industrial landscape of K-pop market, drawing significant attention from both sides and the outside of the industry. And that's why this law group feels that it's going to be in the favor of Adore, because the court will have to think about how that's going to impact the larger landscape of Korean entertainment. Now, do remember that there are new developments in terms of how countries are dealing with each other in terms of trade, in terms of imports and exports. China has opened up a little again, but who knows? They might close again their market from Korean entertainment. So the court will have to take those things into consideration. Now, the other thing is that another expert said that the existence of an injunction in favor of Ador, blocking New Jeans from independent activity, reduces New Jeans' leverage in the short term and signals the court views the contract as still valid for now. And so they feel that that's a big clue as to how the court is going to think about it. The mere fact that the injunction itself favored Adore will give us a clue on how the court is looking at this. And they feel that the court is actually really looking at the long term, not just the short term. It's not just, oh, this poor girls can't work anymore, but more like, well, I'm going to have to look at the landscape, how contracts are going to be treated, how investments are going to be treated, but more importantly, how the interpretation of contracts will be treated. Because at the end of the day, it will be how trust is going to be defined. So this case can define trust again, because for the longest time they know how trust is defined legally in South Korea. So it has to be tangible. It can't just be like, oh, I've lost my confidence anymore. I don't feel comfortable. That's not how trust is defined. So if the current case changes how that is defined, then that's going to echo through future investments. And so they feel now this law firm, Guangya law firm, this lawyer from Guangya law firm, initially made a bet in favor of New Jeans. They're saying that at the end of the day, if New Jeans refuses to work with Ador, the court will have to take that into consideration. But he was proven wrong because the court actually favored Ador since then. So hi, Fairlane. Can you tell me if there's a difference in the content for members only or for Patreon, or it's the same? I can pick one between those two and want to get which has more content. Ah, it's the same. You can go. It's just easier for those that are in Patreon. So, but it's the same. The advantage in Patreon is that you can get the annual. So I think there's a discount in Patreon. There. That's the biggest advantage of Patreon. I totally agree. Her hands are likely all over this. Can the judge validate the contract but also terminate it? Um, the, I'm not a lawyer. Initially, my interpretation is that the court can only decide what is being asked for. Like if I sue for murder, for example, if it is murder, the court can't say nope, it's not murder, but it is homicide. So I'm going to the court can say that. The court is going to say, yep, it is murder, or nope, it's not murder. That's the only thing that it can do. But then there are articles coming out that they're saying that in South Korea, the 1030 rule can actually apply, meaning it can decide the same way it decided on the TVXQ case, where it says, okay, terminate the contract, but pay the fine. So let's see. I thought it has always been a yes or no, but they said that no, in South Korea it has happened where the court actually said, okay, you're gonna have to terminate the contract, but you're gonna have to pay the fine. So if they start basing trust with feelings, the court system has failed. Yeah, the court system has failed. But yeah, it has to be tangible, right? That we know that. I mean, I think everyone here who's if you've gone into 12th grade, you would know they all tell us that in it, when it comes to the law, when there is an inclusion, everything else is an exclusion. So if you define what is trust, everything else is excluded. So there is way too much evidence that the broken trust was orchestrated by MHJ. Let's hope that the court is going to actually see it that way. So that is the majority of the legal opinions are saying that the court will most likely side with Ador. It doesn't hinder New Jeans from actually appealing the case, and it has happened where the decision was actually overturned by by the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, and then eventually the Supreme Court. Laws based on feelings would be open to so much interpretation, it would be chaos. It would be chaos. I worry that the courts will be influenced. Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, there at the end of the day, judges are still humans, so they are, susceptible to biases. So let's see what's going to happen. I think it was because the court usually sides on the side of the talent, the artist in many other cases before. And so that is also not like it's not a far-fetched idea for them to side with New Jeans just because that's at you know they always side with the worker over the corporation. Um, Although I think it was interesting that the judge actually said in the first hearing that he finds it interesting that New Jeans have actually been paid well, that they've actually gotten all this favors in terms like the support in terms of marketing, production, and everything else, and they are still suing because he said like it used to be that like all the cases that have been handled before, it was all about they're not paying me. It has been 7 years they're not paying me, and then suddenly there is this group who's coming forward asking for their contracts to be terminated, even though they've been paid well. So let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, do you have any more question before we go to RM? Just one more year. Why not up to three? They don't know the meaning of hardship. This is so stupid. US was not supporting New Jeans in the beginning. So why would they support them now when it's evident how steep your turning right or left will be? Yeah, I think this is just another effort of either the fans or somebody in the camp of men trying to. I think they have realized that the real strength of many of Hive groups, actually the real strength of Hive's business is really hinged on the fact that they have a huge market share in the US and Europe. And I've said that many times here. I said it's really useless to try and block the business of Hive in South Korea because that's not their end goal. End goal is global. US, Europe, Japan. Those are the three biggest US markets. I mean markets economically. And so a lot of these efforts of many critics, haters in South Korea, they're moot. It doesn't hold power because you're not the end goal. You're the stepping stone towards a bigger market. And I think people are finally catching on to that. That's why they're convincing many of the fans that the US market is siding with New Jeans. What's the general opinion, or are they over it? Many, so the in terms of forums, many are so over it. Like they're so sick of how this media play has been going, how people are trying to, meaning men, or at least people that like her, how they're trying to sway public opinion, the constant release of something new during the releases or new projects of different Hive groups. So the consensus is that they're like, can we just get over this already? That's the like popular consensus. This is not to say there aren't people that are siding with Min. She still has a lot of fans. Nujin still has a lot of fans. So there are still people that are like, oh, we hope that they win. Now, whether the fans of New Jeans are really New Jeans fans or just haters of high groups. Guys, I think MHJ Shaman has got to me because I'm not sure I'm going to be online when the court ruled on New Jeans. I've been waiting a month for this, and now Cat 5. Oh, I hope that you're going to be okay. Those slimy reporters she must be paying. Fairlane, what do you think? The Min suddenly opening her own agency. Um, I think she thinks she's gonna win. I think she thinks she's sorry. I think she thinks that New Jeans is going to win, and then right after they win, they're going to announce that they are signing with her. That's what I think. I don't think people like her. They're just using her and the circumstance she created. Are both cases no? It's just the Ador versus New Jeans, the validity of their exclusive contract. That's the only thing that will be decided on Thursday. Yes, but why is she so sure? Because traditionally the court decides in favor of the artist. That's the traditionally, even in the landmark case of TVXQ versus SM Entertainment, the court still found ways to favor TVXQ to a certain degree because the three members I'm talking about. So if you would remember, TVXQ was originally five members. Three members sued SM Entertainment asking for the termination of the exclusive contract. And SM was actually able to provide all of these materials proving that the the extended period of the contract was actually because the members asked for it. It wasn't them. So initially it was like a 7-year contract extended 3 years, so 10, but the parents want. But all of this is anyway, water under the bridge. The point is that at the end of the day, the court still found a way on how to favor TVXQ. And so the court said, terminate the contract, allow them to work, so set them free, but they were made to pay the fee, like the penalty So a portion of their earnings go to SM until they were able to pay it off. But they signed 14-year contract. Yes. So according to, it's a long time ago, and I'm like, so anyway, the story is that initially it was a 10-year contract, 7 years initially extended to 3 years, and then it was actually the parents who wanted some guarantee, and so they extended the contract because it was supposed to be a rotating group. It was not supposed to be a fixed 5-member group, but because the parents wanted to make sure that it's good, the 5 members will be fixed, they wanted to extend the contract or something like that. Anyway, that's a long time ago. And JYJ, by the way, they did very well. And I'm happy that, as you know, I think they sort of made amends because in the last, they've made contact with each other already. So JYJ did very well, and I'm happy that they were able to get out of the contract. I'm happy for how they've handled it because they fought for what they think is right. All of those things. That's a long time ago. So, okay. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the court was able to favor TVXQ. So they were able to give TVXQ what they wanted, which was to terminate the contract. Okay. Now, many other cases followed after that, and they've always favored the idols. However, many of these cases is hinged on the fact that these companies don't pay the idols. That's why the judge was shocked in the first hearing. He said that this is kind of strange. Like many of these cases is fought on the basis of the idols, the artists not getting paid, but this one's got paid a lot. So like that's like so that is the answer to your question, why is she so confident? It's because of that. Okay. All right, do you want to talk about RM? Jong is really doing to all TV. Sorry. So there are 3 members who were able to get out of the contract. I think one of them sort of has like some hard times in his life, but the 2 members are very visible and they're doing very well. Okay, RM at APEC. Before I start, I just want to make sure that this is nothing political. If you cannot stand hearing the names of either party, Republicans, Democratic, if you can't stand without having to install them or feel bad, it's not worth it. Please drop out of the live stream. It's not worth ruining your day. But they will be mentioned because they're involved in this entire thing. Nothing political. This is purely economics. Anybody who badmouths anybody, whether it's Republicans or Democratic, I'm going to block you. So please be in your best behavior or opt out. It's not worth it. For one topic, it's not worth ruining your mood. But this discussion is purely economics. Okay? I hope everybody understands. All right. Let's proceed. I think that's enough time to give people a chance to opt out. So, APEC, I think I've mentioned this either here in the members only live stream that I used to write speeches for the president of my country, the Philippines. And so I've never had a chance to attend APEC, but I've had a chance to write the script for APEC, his speech for APEC, and some of the position papers and stuff like that. It's very interesting to study like different economies, I started writing speeches for him when I was 18, fresh out of college. I graduated very, very early. And so I wrote speeches for him, and my degree was in journalism, but like economics and this is not, it wasn't my cup of tea. And so having to like write speeches, I had to sort of go back to school and educate myself on all of the things. Like I was so shocked with the things that I was like finding out when it was such a fun experience for me. But I wouldn't recommend anybody to hire an 18-year-old to write a speech for you. Don't do that to yourself. Oh my god. Anyway, so it just brought me back when I was writing this. I was like, I did a lot of like studies, and because we had to propose some stuff, and you can't just propose without being backed by like an actual um economic study, right? So anyway, okay, so speechwriter, yeah, that was a long time ago. That was my first. I graduated when I was 18. I graduated school very early, and so right out of college, and I didn't know what I was doing. Like right out of college, I took my master's degree in the Philippines, and I just saw an ad in one of our bulletin boards. As like somebody's looking for a speechwriter. I was like, oh, okay. I just applied. I didn't know what it entails. I didn't know the responsibility. And this is a funny story. So I did not know that there is an informal law that when a president says it, it becomes any word that he says or something, anything that he says, it becomes like correct. It becomes official. So our national language is called Filipino. That's our national language. It's a very difficult language to master. But I did not know the weight of that, right? I did not know any of those things. And so I wrote a speech which he used, and it was in Filipino, and it was wrong grammar in Filipino. So I misspelled something. A word that's commonly misspelled, I misspelled it. And I guess he just said it. Um, and the head of why am I telling you this? The language head of the biggest university in the Philippines, like equivalent to a Harvard or a Yale or a UCLA, called me, who was very, very angry at me. He was like, that's the wrong word. Now it's correct because the president used it. I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay, so don't don't hire an 18-year-old to write the speech for you. Anyway, okay, let's um let's proceed. So there's Apex CEO and there's Apec. And the Apex CEO is sort of a pocket event, just as important, but it's a pocket event of Apec. Okay. And RM is speaking in the APEC CEO event. So in general, it's a regional forum. APEC is a region. Tagalog is the one of the dialects, but the official language is called Filipino. Yeah. So we have 181 ethno-linguistic groups in the country. And so effectively we have more than 100 languages or dialects, base language. And Tagalog is the most common, that is the language used in the capital, Manila. And so, but for more than 20 years ago, I think the Department of Education formally said that that is not the national language. The national language is called Filipino, and that national language sort of uses different words from different dialects. Okay, so in other words, if we ever have to write a speech for the president, make sure we use correct grammar. Yeah, make sure it's correct grammar. You should have seen. I thought I was gonna like when that professor she was the head of the language department in that university, and she called me, and she didn't know who I was. She just asked like, who wrote this freaking speech, and she was like so angry at me. So angry. Which president? Estrada, not Ramos. It was the guy after him. Okay. A regional forum established in 1981 to promote free trade. So that's basically it. Free trade. So they talk about businesses, how each country can help each other. So there are 21 member countries: United States, South Korea, Japan, China, Canada, Australia, and most ASEAN countries. I believe Malaysia. There also, I think Italy is there. So APEC collectively represents 40% of the global GDP. So, did the president ever say anything to you? Did he say anything to me? No, no. No, he didn't. No, it's not like I had a like regular direct interaction with the president. So, so no, no, he didn't have. I had interactions with him, but it wasn't often. Okay, I'm proud of you, Miss Ferry. Thank you. It was a long time ago. Um, Okay, that is what my babysitter taught me in the Philippines, but that was like early 70s. Like I'll teach you one word in Filipino. I'll teach you a bad word. Tanga. As tanga. It's idiot. So when somebody says, "Ay tanga," it's like, "Oh gosh, idiot," or something like that. Okay. So it brings 21 countries together. Collectively, it's 40% of the global GDP. Okay. And the end goal is something more concrete, right? So if the UN is like a lot of ideology or whatever, this one is they usually try to come up with something very, very concrete, and there's a lot of networking happening during these events. So a lot of pocket meetings happening between presidents, between CEOs and the president and stuff like that. And they try to actually solidify, at least verbally, some of the trade agreements that they're going to have. So this is a working summit. It's not just some sort of ideological summit or whatever. This is usually a working summit. Okay, doesn't Filipino have English in it? So doesn't mean we all know some Filipino words. Yes. English is sort of a second word. Sorry, second word, second language in our country. If you come to the Philippines, everyone knows how to speak English. Of course, not everybody's fluent. I'm not fluent. So it's always like, but some struggle more than the others, but you will be able to communicate with somebody. The grammar might be all over the place, but you will be able to communicate with somebody. Like you can literally walk up to anybody in the street and you'll be able to communicate. It might be hard, but they'll make it happen, something like that. Okay. So now that's APEC. Now, APEC CEO Summit is the pocket event of APEC. And here, if APEC is attended mostly by presidents and secretaries and other leaders of a country, APEC CEO Summit usually involves ac- some of the CEOs of the biggest companies in the world, not just in that country or the US or whatever, like CEOs in the world, influential CEOs in the world. Okay. Um, you're not fluent in English. That means I'm not fluent. It's my only language. No, I'm not fluent in English. I don't think so. Um, I can communicate. Well, I guess well enough that you understand what I'm trying to say, for the most part. Okay, so that which is why it's actually impressive for RM to actually be speaking here, because they usually really reserve it for C-level executives of huge companies. Now, Hybe is actually sponsoring this event. They are one of the sponsors, which probably explains why it's easier for them to get a seat. But still, for them to be approved as one of the sponsors means there's something different that has weight in it. And it's even a bigger statement that Hybe is actually sending RM instead of one of the other CEOs of the many labels that they have in there. So that's a statement in itself, and we'll get to that. Now, there is a pre event that happened already where Bang Shiyuk spoke. So before this, there was like a pre-event where other CEOs were present and other companies were invited. So usually these businesses come together. They kind of talk about, okay, what are we going to ask for to make trade easier, to make our businesses easier so that we can help each other, hiring, technology development, sharing of whatever. So that happens usually before the actual event. So that event happened and Bang Shiyuk spoke in that event. All right. But in this formal pocket event of APEC, it's RM that's going to talk. Okay. So imagine NVIDIA is currently the most valuable company in S&P 500. And it's the founder that's actually going to be talking. And for Hybe, it's the leader of BTS. It make you giddy? So, okay, Citibank, Amazon is going to be there, Johnson and Johnson, Google, and Microsoft. Okay, so for Microsoft, it's the corporate vice president. And then Simon Can for Google, he's the chief marketing officer. So he's the marketing leader of the entire Google company, of the entire Google enterprise of Alphabet, not just Google. Okay. All right. So that's why it's like when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, like NVIDIA, the president of the founder of NVIDIA is coming. And then it's RM. It's like, I'm so proud of RM. So, so proud. Okay. So the Apex SEO Summit is, it bridges, I'm trying to get over the giddiness so that I can proceed with my, okay. So the Apex CEO Summit bridges public policy and private enterprise. So if APEC talks about policies and laws and what country wants, the CEO summit builds the partnerships because at the end of the day, the it's the government that set out the policies, but it's actually the businesses that earn the money for them. So the demands and the needs of these companies need to be met for any private enterprise or any capitalist country to actually thrive, right? Okay. I'm imagining Namjoon would be super nervous, maybe even more than when he spoke in the UN, but pretty impressive. Well done, Namjoon. Yeah, I think, well, I don't know how he's going to feel, but this is going to be very different. So his topic is creative industries and soft power of K culture in the APEC region. So given that topic, of course, it makes sense that it's going to be Namjoon. He is the leader of BTS. So he has a lot to say on what creative on the soft power of K culture. However, at the end of the day, he has a interest to promote, right? He's there to represent something. And it's his country. He's there to represent his country. He's not just going to talk. D- Um, this is a big weight on his shoulder. He's not just going to talk in there as a member of BTS, as a leader of BTS, but also representing his country. And he's going to be talking before some of the most successful businessmen in the world. Okay. So remember that he is that like this is the founder of NVIDIA. This is the chief marketing officer of Alphabet, the biggest search engine in the world, the one that controls the narrative of what people are going to believe. Amazon, Microsoft, all of these people know one thing, and that's business. And you have the leader of a boy band. So there has to be he wasn't chosen because of the prestige of his name. He was chosen for a reason. In an event like this, you don't throw it to popularity. You don't do something just because you want to get clicks. There is a goal, and RM knows that what that goal is. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's what can South Korea offer to all of these countries and to all of these businesses? Yeah, and a young person at that, correct. So at the end of the day, it's all about okay, what can South Korea? That's what he is going to talk about based on the title. Like, what can South Korea offer? What is it that South Korea has that all of these businesses don't have? What does South Korea has that Google, Nvidia, Amazon, Microsoft don't have, right? That's what he is there to emphasize. Okay, and represent. And that is soft power. China's strength is primarily based on its manufacturing businesses. That's how they became a superpower because they leverage their manufacturing. It's all businesses. It's all business. And that's a great strategy too. But do remember that SK's growth was boosted by its soft power. They were already on their way to becoming a manufacturing powerhouse. They have different technologies. They have Hyundai, Samsung, and other technologies, but it was really boosted by their soft power. So, what ARM is going to be doing, or at least is expected to do, is leverage his experience to demonstrate the impact of soft power to actual businesses. That's what he's there to prove. He wants to emphasize, or at least this is what many experts expect, that he will make that direct connection between entertainment and actual business. He is there to prove that when you consume music, when you consume the IP of BTS, you're not just stopping on consuming their music or buying their concert tickets. It spills over other industries. He's going to prove that. Okay. And that is an important thing for the US, and US is an important partner of South Korea because Hollywood is losing its influence. So it has lost its grip on the Chinese market. It is losing its grip in many Asian countries because Bollywood has long taken over in many countries. And so RM is there to prove, okay, while Hollywood is losing its wits, South Korea is building its own. Okay. I think the gravity of that is not lost in him, so just a tiny pressure. Oh, he knows that. I'm sure. I don't think that it's like, oh, it's like Bangshi you calling RM and saying, "Hey, like you're going to deliver a speech. Good luck. Bye." I don't think that's I'm pretty sure that that is not how it happened. So he knows the gravity of what he's about to do. I think if there's anybody who's not appreciating the gravity of it all, it would be the fans. Okay, and so remember that the connection, whatever kind of connection he's going to be making, has to be tangible and it has to be backed by data. You're speaking before the founder of Nvidia, the chief marketing officer of Google, Johnson and Johnson, Microsoft, Amazon. If you talk about anything emotional, these people are, what the hell are you talking about? Like, we're here to talk about business, right? We're not here to love yourself. We're not going to be talking about that. Talk to me about business because that's what they are there for. Okay, what does soft power mean? So soft power is the influence of a country traditionally, or anybody, that is not hinged on tangible things um, weapons. So it's cultural usually. How does your culture, how does your image influence consumers, policies, and Hollywood has that basically before. That was US's soft power is Hollywood. Okay, that's the very, very brief explanation on what soft power is, but not comprehensive by any means. So we've established that he's there to make a case and prove how soft power can actually influence commerce, businesses, manufacturing. And he can't just be poetic about it because he's going to be talking before some of the best businesses and most successful businessmen in the world. Okay. So, and to further sort of make us realize on how important it is, South Korea is one of the biggest, their economy is hinged on exports. And this is where they export the most. So, number one is China. Number two is the US, ASEAN, Japan, and then the rest of the world. So, the rest of the world is like the rest of the how many countries that they have. But the biggest two would be China and US, and then Japan. So, those relationships they need to take care of, because if they don't, then they're going to lose 21 billion of their exports in their economy. So this is the 2024. And this is a huge jump. US is a huge jump for them. It's a very, very big jump because it used to be, so remember the amount of their exports, 115 billion to the US and 124 billion to China, but it used to be way less than that. So in the last, this was 2016. So in the last, I guess since 2017, the relationship of South Korea with the US in terms of trade have has actually strengthened. And they want to continue strengthening that because, and sorry, and before I go to that, these are the industries that are bringing in most export money to South Korea. And look at that. Pharmaceutical products increased by 91.7% in 2024. Sorry, in 2021 after Dynamite. So beauty products increased 40%. And then food, 34.9%. So those are the three industries that had the biggest jump, and it happened right after the boom of BTS in the US. So and more than that, South Korea itself made the connection between the popularity of BTS to the exports, the increase of their exports in this product. So pharmaceutical, beauty products, and food. Okay. All right. So now These are the top 10 exports in South Korea. Now, it is very important for them. This is what it used to look like, by the way. Look at the jump. This is what you usually look like. Okay. Sorry, these are the top 10 biggest exporters, and South Korea is one of the top 10. Okay. So the relationship with the US is very important for South Korea, both in their economy and their security. Because as you know, North Korea is just right there, just right next to their country. So they're trying to, North Korea wants to get them. And the reason North Korea isn't doing anything is because of the US. US is supporting South Korea. So they need the support of the US. And South Korea knows that. That's why they didn't retaliate when it came to the tariff and all of those stuff. So all of that, again, all of that, RM is aware, because it's not just going to deliver a speech carelessly with all of this at stake. You don't just give somebody the task of representing your company and your country in a very important summit and not have him realize all of this. And the truth is that they really rely a lot on the security, on the military of the US. And so the trick, the trick, sort of the responsibility is to is for RM to emphasize just how important South Korea is to the US and many other countries, while also not spoiling whatever kind of partnership they already have. Okay. Korean makeup and snacks are big now. Yeah. And they're going to open Olive Young. Oh my God, I can't wait. The only thing that I buy from that store is the lipstick. So, okay. So that is what RM needs to emphasize, that there is an advantage. He needs to prove that the soft power that South Korea has is something that they were able to use to leverage, to increase their business, to increase the consumption of other countries using their products. And that is not something that other countries have been able to do. South Korea has been a master of that. Now, add to that the next frontier, which is technology and IP. So eventually, because right now it's all about manufacturing, cars and technology and stuff like that, phones. But the future is the fusion of entertainment with technology. And again, when we say entertainment, it's not just music, it's movies, TV shows, gaming, IP, all of those businesses. And no other company has done it as well as Hybe, right? Because they have mastered how to translate creativity into an IP and translate IP into actual businesses. Now, currently, this is just for gaming, one aspect of IP. The biggest gaming country is the US. 190, well, it's not 141 in 2025, but they are estimating by 2030 it's going to go up to 199.3 billion. So, and then China. South Korea is on the top 5, but South Korea wants to move up to at least number 2. They want to become the second biggest gaming country in the world. Okay. So, that is a lot of pressure for him. Have to say, I'm a little worried about him, but I know he has many positive and loving people around him. I am very, very confident he can pull this off. It's really more us that needs to appreciate, right? Like a lot of it's the fans that need to appreciate just how difficult this task is. You really you don't just go walk up to like an event like this and not be prepared and not really know what's happening. So that the goal of South Korea, and they have actually verbalized this, the goal of South Korea is to ever overtake China when it comes to gaming. They want to become at least the second next to the US, at least the second, and then eventually become the biggest gaming country in the world. And when I say gaming country in the world, I mean the games are originating from South Korea. Okay. So, all right. Now, outside of that, the cryptocurrency industry has gone up tremendously in the last 10 years. So back in 2014, if you look at that, all the way to 2022, the jump has been spectacular. And then when you look at the 2024, it's even higher. And again, Hybe is well positioned in that because they already have some of their products using cryptocurrency in Weverse itself. Some of the songs of their groups are already NFTs. So, in terms of translating creative materials into something tangible and something that is more akin to that is using technology, nobody knows it more than Hype. Okay. Um, Next. So this is cryptocurrency, how big the industry has grown, which Hype knows a thing or two about. But the bigger technology is actually the blockchain. So this is the supporting technology. You can think of cryptocurrency like cars, right? It takes you from one place to another. Blockchain is the road. So it makes all of those technologies possible, like cryptocurrency. That's what that is the foundational technology. And it is already being adopted by banks, by different countries. And so it's already growing. Again, Hybo knows a thing or two about this. They already are using, my guess is that it's actually a cryptocurrency. Um, I need to explain that. So Jelly, I think, is a cryptocurrency. And I'm saying I think primarily because I don't know what blockchain they are using. And that will spell all the difference. Usually, a blockchain is maintained by different people around the world, by different computers around the world. So if they are using blockchains like Ethereum or stuff like that, then that's a cryptocurrency. But what we do know is that they are investing in it. We know that. We just don't know where they are when it comes to their investment. So the technology itself is growing in terms of adoption. Banks are already using it. And once you have the banks, everything else will follow eventually. So this is where the economy is growing. The investment in these industries are going. And then, as I keep on mentioning, nobody knows it better than Hype because they have successfully created IPs for BTS that are now making money for BTS without the direct interaction or involvement of the artists in the IPs. They're able to sell these products, right? And now that they are starting to put their tokenize. They are converting these different IPs into NFTs. They are opening it to the market. Eventually, anybody, even small creators, will be able to license BT21, Tiny 10. BTS will be able to earn without having to go through the strenuous negotiation, contract signing, all of those things. The only thing that I need to do is go to their platform, buy the contract using cryptocurrencies. I'll be able to be legally licensed to use any of these things. So that's where they are headed. And the good thing is that the US is actually appreciative of this. Trump has been very much pushing for the technology. He's giving cryptocurrencies, blockchains, all the leverage, all the political advantages that they need just so they can push forward the technology. And it's going to be inevitable for many artists to go into this technology because again, it's going to make it easier for them to license their IPs. Okay. Um it's crazy to see how far they have gotten, especially knowing where Big Hit was financially. Yeah. Hybe is ahead in transforming basically all of these creative properties into products, and no other country has done it in this level. No other country or no other artist or no other country has done it in this level. Try and think about it. No one has done it. Japan has been able to create a lot of IPs, Hello Kitty, many of their mangas. But coming from an artist, becoming a merchandise, becoming a line, no one has done it before except BTS. And that is the biggest leverage and the biggest asset that RM can talk about in that summit. BTS has been successfully doing it ever since. They've created all of these IPs from their creatives and then transform it into a business. And again, Hive has been there in putting all of these IPs into a technology, the blockchain, to allow it for faster adoption. And no one has done it before. So once he goes into that forum, that's the one thing he can talk about. Nobody else in that forum has experience in or has any success in. Not Google, not Amazon, not Nvidia. Only RM has the right and experience to actually talk about that because only he has done it. Okay. All the guys are definitely businessmen. Look at Jin, the man is a virtual billboard. Okay, so what South Korea wants is more economic influence. So they want better tariff for sure. I don't know if you know this, but the biggest disadvantage that they have in China is that China imposes anywhere between 32 to 110% tariff in the different products that South Korea is exporting to China. So that is their to this day, China is still their biggest partner, but they are getting tariff like no other 32%, 102 to 110% depending on the product. So it's setting them back. In other words, had the tariff been lower, or had it not been there, they would be exporting more to China because Chinese will be able to afford their products more. Now, when na for up until recently, up until before Trump, there was no tariff that the US is imposing on South Korea. Although South Korea is imposing tariff on US products. And so they want now South Korea realizes, okay, the US is now asking for fairness. Basically, the US said, if you're going to tariff my product, I'm going to tariff you. So they struck a deal. Earlier this year, in the first half of the year, the president said of South Korea said, okay, we're going to invest more money. We're going to start investing in South Korea. Sorry, in the US, meaning they're going to put manufacturing plants in the US. Okay. So, because a lot of the products of South Korea is being manufactured in China and then exported to the US. So, what South Korea said, okay, we're going to invest more money in the US itself. We're going to put manufacturing plants. We're going to manufacture more products in the US, lower the tariff. Okay. So, right now, that's where they are. Trump lowered the tariff in exchange of their investment. The military support is still there. Okay, so um, I don't know why I'm okay. There you go. He's going to do amazing. Wow, the pressure. Yeah, it is. The pressure is high. So, but I hope that you're able to appreciate like the gravity of the responsibility that he has, because that's where they are, right? Not that the current government of South Korea isn't able to negotiate for better terms. Obviously, they did. It's just that in exchange for better tariff rates, they need to invest in the U.S. But the US has to continue their intimate relationship with South Korea because it's a big part of their business. Okay. So what South Korea basically wants is a better economic exchange with the US because there's no way in hell China is going to lower their tariff. That country hates everybody. So there's just many leaders the other thing is that many leaders in APEC are focused on young people, and that is one of the main reasons they opted to send RM rather than have any other CEO of Hive speak. Because uh, Trump, the president of other countries, Japan, the president of Japan, they put a lot of weight on young people. They want young people to sort of go back into the basics, think about the economy, their contribution to the society, and stuff like that. And RM is the best representative of that. So, in RM's speech, what people are expecting, what experts are expecting, is to demonstrate how South Korea, through its soft power, became more influential among direct consumer over other countries. So, they think that he's going to prove that, like, hey, because of us, groups like BTS, we were able to influence trade because people are demanding our products. That's how we were able to increase the export of beauty products, of food, because of us. Okay, so that's one. Second, demonstrate how Hybe transformed entertainment into a more robust sector by embracing technology. So again, they have introduced this new form, not really new, but they have, I guess, implemented an idea to make it a viable business model, transforming creative images and creative ideas into IPs and then into products. So he will be able to best demonstrate that because they were the recipient. So a lot of people were asking why him and not Bang Shiyok, right? He, after all, is the founder of Hype. And everybody else attending that summit, founder of NVIDIA, chief marketing officer of Google, Johnson and Johnson, they are all sending C-level executives. Why is Hype sending RM? Because of cultural credibility. So you don't want Bang Shiyuk to be asking for to be seen as someone who's sort of benefiting from this, making giving Hybe unfair advantage over other companies. You want somebody that will talk about culture of South Korea and how that translated into business. So sending RM reframes it as a cultural contribution, a story of art, identity, and generational influence that transcends company profit. So it's a soft sell. If you send Bang Shiyuk, it's a hard sell. And worse, it's a hard sell for Hybe, not necessarily for Korean culture. Sending RM, the conversation becomes about Korean culture, not just about Hybe. But RM will still be able to sell Hybe because Hybe is a company that backed the vision that they had and the businesses that they were able to accumulate because of that. Okay, next. In other words, Hybe as a Korean, they will be able to position Hybe as a Korean cultural leader, not just an entertainment giant. Okay, so that's why RM. Okay, another reason RM has a global legitimacy as a public intellectual. Lucky for Hive, he was able to position himself as an actual intellectual. So his speech in Love Myself speech in 2018 in the UN, and then he has a reputation for introspective, literate, and global aware commentary. And he has done it all through the songs that he has written, the different causes that he supports, the events that he attends, his love for art, the way that he speaks about issues. So they are able to use the brand, the personal brand of RM to the advantage not just of High but also of South Korea. Because you have one person, one artist who's actually an intellectual. And of course, it's symbolic. It's about youth, creativity, and modern Korea. So they are introducing South Korea not just as a legacy, not just a traditionally powerful country, but also a modern country that is prepared to go in the next century. Okay, and then Bang is already seen as Korea's one of Korea's most powerful businessmen, but his presence could shift the optics from soft diplomacy to corporate lobbying. So they might get even more criticized for sending Bang Shiyuk. People are just going to say, "Oh, you're favoring Hybe over uh, other businesses, other companies. This is unfair, and you know how South Koreans are." So RM is a better option. And then he's politically neutral, but also socially trusted. He has been very good in not showing his political leanings. He has served his country whenever he's called. He doesn't really make any kind of commentary about political issues. So he's seen as politically neutral. So I just want us to sort of appreciate that in that summit, we don't know who's going to be sitting down to listen to his speech, right? The state leaders might be there, and different presidents and prime ministers of different countries will be there. I hope that we understand that he's there representing South Korea. He's not there because of any political reason. It doesn't matter whose hand he's going to be shaking, whose pictures he's going to be taking with, who pulls him aside to take a picture and have a conversation. He's there to represent South Korea, not to campaign for anybody. So if there is anybody who says, oh, this is MAGA, this is whatever, this is right wing, this is left wing, he's not there for that. He's there because he wants to promote his country and their cultural exchange. And I hope that we as armies will front that conversation. He's there not just as a leader of BTS, but as a representative of the soft power of South Korea. Okay. Do you have questions? I Nigma, just no talk of any, like, we're just, please, no political talk. This is just about, I keep on emphasizing he's going to be there to represent his country. They have a trade agreement they're trying to work on. This is an entire country relying on export. They want jobs for their people, and he's there to represent that aspect of their business. So he's going to be shaking hands with who he needs to shake hands with. And also, if a person comes up to you polite, saying hello, what do you expect that person to do? To turn away and say, I don't want to shake your hands? That's impolite, right? You, a person comes up to you and say hello, you say hello back. It's just as simple as that. So I know people are going to frame this as something else, like especially haters are going to look for reasons. I hope that we can just very, very objectively say that he's there for his country. They have a trade agreement that they're trying to work out. They want more advantage for their country so that they can continue exporting not just their products but also their culture. So I hope that's very uh clear to us that he's there to represent South Korea. He's not there for politics. It's just business. And nobody can speak of that better than he can. Right? Who is the, can you ever think of an act that was able to translate their creative, their songs, their art into an IP and into a business? No one else. Just BTS. So who else can best talk about it but them? Okay. Um Elizabeth, that is happening. They've met the, yes, they've met Biden before, so we will be able to watch speech somewhere. The haters will say all sort. Yeah, I just hope that that is to be expected. That haters are going to say all sorts of things, but let's just always let us also. The one thing I always say is that let's not speak for the boys in terms of their political leanings. Let's not expect that they will share our belief. Number one, they're not Americans. So it's really, really, they shouldn't be talking about the politics of the US, not in the position that they are in. And so I hope that we don't expect that they represent our beliefs. They have their own problems. And in this specific event, he's representing South Korea, not anything else. Okay. Our leader, he is one of a kind. Okay, let me just do something because it's my computer is overheating. Give me 1 second. Okay. I think their political leanings is not for us. Correct. It's not for us to discuss. And our political leanings is not for us to impose on them. Right? So he's there for business. APEC is for business. So yeah, let's just be proud. I'm sure he's going to do fantastic in representing all of those cases if the critics and the economists are correct in what they are expecting. He will be able to make a case. He will be able to talk substance. We're going to be proud of him. There is no other person who can do this better than he can. So I'm just so looking forward to it. Okay. Um, any questions before we go on to the next one? To be honest, even though I know that Namjoon will meet Mr. Trump, that is going to be good for him internationally. I'm not concerned about who he meets or whatever. I'm sure he's going to be in his best behavior. I'm sure that he will be polite. He has his manners in place. So okay. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. What do we have? We have news and updates, and we have BTS. News and updates. Thanks for explaining the gravity of RM's speech. We will be cheering for him. Yeah. Boycotters are already waiting to attack new wave of hate campaign. If we want somebody to not get a visa, saying something controversial will be a way to stop a tour. Correct. That's why I was very upset with that thing with Jungkook. That is whatever he wears is none of our business. Let's not get themselves involved in this. Okay. I know I'm going to swell up with pride. I already am so, oh my God, you don't know how proud I was when I first heard that. It was like, oh my God. These are the CEOs of Nvidia, Amazon, and then it's RM. He is up there in their level. That is the statement. He is the same level as you are. Okay. Can we watch the APEC? I think you can. So it used to be aired live. I'll research what's going to air it and then I'll post it on X and also on Patreon. When is he speaking? On the 30th, I want to say. 30th, I think. Hmm. He's our CEO. Okay. So we've discussed Jungkook's campaign for CK. All right, let's go to the next one. So, congratulations to. So that's going to be tomorrow. The campaign of CK is tomorrow. So I'm very, very excited. Next, "Don't Say You Love Me" is already the fastest song released in 2026 to reach 600 million. I don't know if it is possible. I feel like it is for him to actually get 1 billion before the end of the year. So let's continue uh, streaming for him now. I think so for sure because people are campaigning for this, right? So I'm sure that people are going to be in the monthly deletion of the streams. People are going to highly criticize him and the streams. Well, not him, but fans, because he gets a lot of deletions. I think the strategy is to actually concentrate on the what he's going to be keeping, not what is getting deleted. So I don't think we can stop those fans that are streaming the wrong way, right? So fans will always have there will always be fans who will insist on having a wall to wall "Don't Say You Love Me" in their streaming, in their playlists. There's nothing we can do about that. But we can do something about our own streams. But those streamers, those that are streaming that way, those are the ones whose streams are getting deleted. There's absolutely nothing we can do about them. They will always have this are those this are like loyal, toxic solos that insist, "Oh, I'm not going to stream anybody but Jin." So I think the strategy is to just concentrate on what they are keeping rather than what is getting dropped off. So, for example, if he gains, this is just an example, if he gains 200 million and he loses 20 million, so the hell what? He got 180 million. So concentrate on that. So, like, if anybody says, "Oh, you're getting 10% of your streams deleted," so I kept 90. I have 180 million streams. What do you have? 9 million? So I think the conversation has to be steered that way. Anybody who says like, you've got 20% of your streams deleted. So I got 80. I got to keep 80% of my streams. So if 20 million of my 100 million was deleted, I still get to keep 80 million. How many did your favorite have, right? So just steer the conversation towards what they're actually going to be keeping. Okay. Um Next. Um Fastest jazz song to do so. So Winter Ahead got 500 million streams and it was the fastest jazz song to get to 500 million streams. So someone explained to me that the reason they're campaigning for this to be the next one to get to 1 billion is because they want to get all the jazz records. Okay. Hi, Fairy. Can I ask what you think about Big Hit and Hyde nurturing thinkers like RM? Because I feel like they might be nurturing this in other younger groups like Yunjin and Martin. I think it's part one of the things. If you watch the what is this? It's a BTS. Ah, no. Sorry. If you watch the documentary of Hybe about their A&R, there was a portion where Bang Shiyuk talked about what is the most important thing for him when looking for an idol to sign, a trainee to sign. And he said that more than anything, it is love and commitment to their craft. He said that. So if that is your main requirement, to a certain degree, it comes with your commitment. It comes with intellect, right? I'm sorry, don't know how else to explain it. But for you to have a certain level of commitment to improve your craft, because it's not just saying like you should love what you're doing. He's saying that he wants somebody that will continuously look for ways on how to become better in what they are doing. And that actually requires intellect. So to a certain degree, I think it is innate in the system of Hive to look for smart people. Um, which I think is great because you have leaders like you have idols like Yoonjin is not the leader, but yes, like um Yoonjin, you have somebody like her, and then I think Cortis as a whole group. I think Cortis as a whole group. I think that's just five alphas in one group. Like all of them are thinkers. All of them like looking for ways not just on how to make their craft good, but actually improve in everything that they do. So I think that is good because that's going to give them an ammunition when they expand to the international market. Because if you just continue doing what other K-pop groups are doing, there will be no improvement and you will be stuck in that K-pop bubble. As opposed to looking for someone that is intellectual and also love their craft, then you're pushing them, you're poising them, you're preparing them for a bigger market, right? They can expand. I hope that makes sense. Um, I have to be in the right mood to listen to jazz, except winter ahead. I can listen to it whenever it plays. I agree that hurting people because they don't look like they shouldn't be political, but it is. Denying that is burying your head in the sand. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so we're in winter ahead. So let's continue. So I someone explained to me that they want to get all the jazz records. That's why they're pushing for winter ahead. So if you can just include that more in your streaming, that'll be great. So that he can get to 500 to 1 billion faster. Okay. So we'll go back to Tay in a little bit. Hi, magandang umaga, ate. She's saying, um, good morning, older sister. Ate is how we call her. That's our Annie. Okay. Le Seraphim, the collaboration between J Hope and Le Seraphim, Spaghetti, they think is going to land at number 5 of Billboard Global 200, but that will be at the end of the week. And then um, uh, they think that is going to have about 50 million streams and 20,000 sales. And this is going to mark Le Seraphim's first and J Hope's second top 10 entry in Billboard 200. Okay. Next, Spaghetti will also debuted at number 82 in Apple Music top songs. I think this is another thing that the fandom has to really concentrate on is to use Apple Music more. It's really very important. I if this track enters Billboard Hot 100, even if it is in the low 50s, like 50 or lower, it'll prove that they did very well in other platforms like Amazon and Apple Music. So I hope that we put more importance on that when we do our streaming for the next comeback of BTS. Okay. Is there a prediction for Billboard to 100? For this, not yet. It's too early. So, in the Billboard Hot 100, the top 10 that was released today, and then the full list will be released tomorrow. The prediction was that, so the three things that stood out to me was Gabriela is still there. So this will be their 13th week, I want to say. So Gabriela is one. And then Twice has two entries that are still in the ranking. So one is Strategy and the other is Takedown. So Takedown will now extend its lead if they are correct and still in Billboard Hot 100. Takedown will now be there for 15 weeks, and it will become formally the longest charting song by a Korean female act in Billboard Hot 100. And then the Gabriela is a global act, not really a Korean girl group. So that will be their 13th or 12th week, I think. Okay. Um is the one thing I won't do Apple. I'll have to rely on my army friends. Okay, so and then the other thing is that there's this big talk about on X and Facebook and IG as well about Hybe not being able to manipulate the streams and the sales of their different groups because they are under investigation. So apparently a lot of people were betting that this is not going to do well because they're very, very convinced that Hybe is doing payola. That didn't happen. So Spaghetti is Le Serafim's biggest streaming debut. So they had, I think, 2.7 million or 2.9 million on Spotify. They entered Apple Music, as I've said. And on Hanto, their sale is now almost 500,000. So 429,277 for day in total after day four. So they're expecting this is above 500 at the end of day five. So now the people, the haters are saying, oh, you won't be able to manipulate the charts because you are under investigation. Well, there you go. They still did well. Okay, so it also reached number 16 on Melon Top 100, which is a very, very difficult chart to actually crack. So congratulations to them. It probably went up already, but okay, 16, that's very good. It debuted at like 82 or 74 or something like that. And then they also entered the top 40, big top 40 of the UK chart. So congratulations. I'm very happy for them. And also, I know that, of course, J Hope is a big part of this project. Nobody can take that away. And as I've mentioned in my review, I really appreciate that J Hope actually lifted the girls. That with his skill as an artist, he could have very easily hijacked that song and made it about him, right? But he didn't. He just sort of he amplified their message and lifted them up. So nobody can take away his contribution to this track. But also, I hope that we don't take it away from Les Seraphim. So they're going up one step at a time. So before this, their biggest streaming debut was, I think, 2.5, I want to say, or 2.4. And so with this one, they got to 2.9 or 2.7. So they're on track. Okay. Um, I told my nephew this morning at breakfast, eat it up. I should tell that to my dog. Okay, and then as we know, the three Jungkook, J Hope, and RM attended the premiere, and this was so funny to me. Jungkook actually came out of the back, and he was carrying the doll of Cha Eun-woo. So it was so cute. Um, what do you think of the so-called armies who won't stream the song? They're not armies. A lot of these people that are um, claiming to support BTS, but they refuse to stream, they refuse to do this, they refuse to do that. They're actually not armies. Many of these are are actually haters. Actually, there's a lot of very popular OT7 accounts that hate at least one member. And it's not just like, if I could go on, I could have like 30 big OT7 accounts, and one would be a hater of JK, another of V, another of Jimin, another of SUGA. It's like, it's so rare for an OT7 account to actually be really an OT7 account. Most of them secretly hate at least one member. So I'm not surprised with these armies that are refusing to do to to stream or whatever. These are people that are just using army for clout. Unfortunately, that's why I don't interact with a lot of OT7 accounts on X, because at some point, more often than not, I find out that they hate at least one member, at least one member. Okay, going back to um Jungkook, it was so funny how he was actually carrying the doll this way. and and he carried the doll like he was there. So just so funny. And he had the doll the entire interview. So you don't interact with many fan bases. Um it's awful. These boys are aging backwards. Please explain the sorcery to me. Most hate Jimin. Many of them hate Jimin. Many of them hate Jin. Uh, Many of them hate Suga. So there's a lot. So I think it's just natural. It feels so bad when I say it's natural. I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm not saying I condone with it, but it's just common for the Macne line to have a lot of haters. So if you would like observe what's happening with the voting right now in Mamas, I don't usually get involved in Korean voting just because I don't know those things. Um, but observe what's happening right now versus what happened before. You'll be able to like, but because I'm not so concerned, I'm like, whatever. Okay. So going to Cortis now. They they are the fastest fifth gen group. Actually, fastest fourth and fifth gen group to get 5 million followers on Instagram. And they're starting to break a lot of records, even in monthly listeners, in Spotify, in streams. They're breaking a lot of records. So 77. The next one is New Jeans for 199 days. Okay. Um Now, he looks so happy. He looks so happy coming out with that doll. Made me happy to see him so lighthearted. He's very close to Cha Eun-woo. Jungkook is very, very close to Cha Eun-woo. So wait a minute. So him and Jimin are friends, very close to Cha Eun-woo. Okay, so I think Cortis is the next target. I think they are the next target. One of the James is getting a lot of hate apparently because he was the one who stayed. He came from the trainee A group, right? And and he is criticized for staying. I didn't know. My dog wants to be on my lap. Come here. You want to stay until at the end? Okay. Okay, so I think if this trend, the trend of their success continues, I think he's going to be the next target. They are going to be the next target. And unfortunately for James, I think he's going to get the majority of the hate. Okay. Hello again, Debak. They're saying hi to you. It's obvious that they were going to be, unfortunately, the group is just so good. But I think I've mentioned this before. What I appreciate about them is that they are fully aware of the benefits and the privileges that they are getting because they are coming from big hit at the time that they are here, right? When all the groundwork has been set up, when TXT and BTS have been able to stabilize the company. It has been steady, and now it's them. They are fully aware that none of the other groups from Big Hit got this. But they are also not taking it for granted. I think, if at all, they are working harder because they have more to prove. So, but I think it's inevitable. They're going to be the next target. Okay. ILLIT is going to release their next single, and it's not cute anymore. I kind of knew this was going to happen because they do need to evolve as a group. And I think this is going to signal a darker concept for them. James is the most popular. I thought it's Kono. Isn't Kono? I'm looking at their fan, like, what do you call that, fan cams, and it's usually his that has more the most number of views, but that's a very petty way of measuring it, I know. Okay. So ILLIT's first single is going to be not cute anymore. It's going to be released on the 24th. So okay, let's support that. I'm a Wani bias. So I'm looking forward to it. I do think that after this album, they're going to start their tour. I told you everyone and their dog will be touring on the second first half of 2026. So, okay, so I don't know why I put him there. Oh, just because this is going to be your emotional support pictures. Oh my god, what is going on with all the hate? It's just a it's a staple. It's a staple in K-pop. It's just that because BTS is the most popular, then they get the most amount of hate, right? I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying it's part of it. Okay, V for Vogue. I have it. So, Cortis. Isn't he good looking? Is James is good looking, right? He's a good looking guy. And then you have Jimin. This is an old photo, but I like how soft his. So this is unfiltered, no color correction, no brightening, no nothing. This is natural skin, and it looks so good. Okay, Jimin's vinyl album will be released on Friday. Also, there is a big re-comeback on support. Oh yeah, yeah, I saw the re-comeback. You have this. So he is rehearsing now. Jin is rehearsing for his encore. So this is going to be the final part of his Run Sok Jin. I hope that you all got your ticket. I'm there. Your tickets for day one and day two. I certainly got mine, so I'll be there and I'll be watching. He said that there will be new songs. There are also new things that he will be doing that he didn't do in the initial tour. So I'm looking forward to that. Have you gotten all of your tickets? I hope you have. Good God, he looks so good in that photo. He looks so good, right? I know. Okay. This is another one. Look at that. No filter, no nothing. This too, no filter. This is just them. Look at that. So good looking. Is the matinee line attacked in other groups? Yeah. All of them. They all got their naturally, it's natural. The most popular gets the most hate, right? The so yeah. And this I used to like veer away because a lot of people are asking like, why do I show charts when it will show that other members don't get as much streams as the other members? I hope that we all realize that some of the members are releasing songs that are pop, and some of the members are releasing songs that are not so pop. So naturally, the ones that are releasing pop will get more attention, right? And a lot of people can't get that in their head. Like, hip hop is very, very popular here. But do remember that the three hip hop members of BTS, I mean, the ones that are into the genre, they are not, they are guests in that genre. So they will not get the same amount of support versus those that are natural in that genre. So, okay. So, but yeah. Okay. That's Jin. And this is him again. This is Jungkook. um, a lot. There is this big question about his nose, and there's a theory that he got his nose done. He didn't. That is still the same nose that he has when he debuted. Are you going to join the Hive MLS activities in LA? I might. I might. Yeah. And here's another. Are you going? And this is another emotional support. I just love his smile here, and I miss Suga. And we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him in forever. Okay. He just grew into his nose. I know, right? People, I'm so puzzled. Like that has always been his nose. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, that's I love his smile here. The missing you, yeah. Okay, and here, okay, so a lot of the pictures. So this is what I was talking about. Obviously, they made the coat to resemble a traditional hanbok. I get that part, and I think that's like stunning. The cut and all of that stuff. Again, just want to premise this by saying that I'm not an expert. But that's what confused me in the beginning. Like, why is the belt lower? But I realized that that's actually styling. Okay. So sweet of him to actually come out. So if had I rounded the corner and just went around the block, I would have seen him when I was driving. So this is when he actually just stood outside. He stood outside and he just looked at the fans. And I think he was like, okay, go ahead and take my picture. And he just waved at everybody. He stood there, according to some of the fans, for like more than a minute. So he was there to really just spend time with the armies. Okay. Makeup does change a look. I thought that statement was so silly. Te Te looks so gorgeous. He really sold that look. He does, yeah. Look at that. Look at that side profile. That's why I can't blame people while they go to a surgeon to ask for his face. Like make me look like V. The hell? Are you crazy? Okay, and this is the ex sister-in-law. Okay, so Dakota and V. A lot of people forget that they know each other. They know each other. They've met. They've had lunches together. So unfortunately, they broke up, but I hope they're happy. And this is one of the many write-ups about V attending. So the Nuguri, I think is called the belt. So it's both there for aesthetics and also for good luck. Like it's a talisman to protect you or something like that. But they highlighted his style and they commended him for actually wearing something that sort of like pays homage to their traditional clothing. I love that pic with Dan Dakota. I know, right? I wish they're still together, but what can we do? So it was made by J Beck. So the everything that he wore wasn't from Celine. It was from J Beck Couture, which I think was great. Uh, but it was just surprising for me that he didn't wear a Celine. But on the other hand, because an invitation like that, right? If you're Celine, of course you're going to take advantage of that. But I realized that maybe the reason he didn't wear a Celine is that this isn't a part of his contract, right? So when you sign a contract with Celine or for any brand for that matter, they usually put in the contract how many events you are supposed to go representing Celine or an event of Celine that you go to. So let's say he signed for, this is just an example, he signed for two and he attended the fashion week, so that's one. They're probably reserving the other event for something else. And so when Anna Wintour invited him, Celine was probably like, "We need you for something else." So no on that one. So he probably wore somebody else. And this is the same designer he wore for the gala, the W Korea gala. So another Korean designer, which I think is great. He's giving exposure to other Korean designers. Okay, I watched the Vogue event. It was great. I love the smile on Tae. He looked like he was having so much fun. BTS watches are on another level. Yeah. Okay, I think that is it for me. That is the last one. But Cartier maybe, yeah. Yeah, this suit, I mean he can still wear them. Like if V told Selena, "Okay, I'm just going to wear you," I think it would have been fine. But I think I don't know this for sure, but I think it was his choice to wear something that would pay homage to their traditional clothing. I like it when they promote SK designers. Yeah, I'm not sure though. I'm really interested to know whether he has a brand deal with this brand, or if he's just helping out. Okay. All right. Do you have questions? Oh, it's already 2 hours. Do you have questions before we go? I was hoping Te would have walked the runway as well. I'm sure that's going to happen. I'm sure that's going to happen. I mean, Celine would be crazy not to have him walk. I'm sure. They use their watches and jewelry as Christmas ornaments. Just got back. Bye. Oh, you got back and then you're saying bye. When did Deba come back? About 30 minutes, 20 minutes ago. Oh, thank you, Angel Star. Deba, a new ball for you. Oh, you're gonna get a new ball, baby. Want a new ball? I always joke that at this stage I should be a shareholder of the company that manufactures the bouncy ball because he's lost so many. Thank you, Angel Star. Say thank you, baby. Say thank you. Thank you, thank you. They've already walked on the Run BTS runway. Well, they do, yeah. And that it was spectacular. I think the designers are scared that they're just going to steal the show. That's why they're not having them. Okay, do you have questions before we go? I was so invested in the topics, I did not notice you had come back to your lap. I just got to the pictures. That outfit is amazing. He is amazing. He is amazing. He is what makes it work. It's styled well, but it became outstanding because of him. I think it's because of him. How about J Hope, a pick to complete OT7 vibe? Oh, those are the only things that I have. Yes, Felix stole his show last year when he walked. Thanks for the stream. Of course, of course. Yeah, Felix is always. Did you know that they actually sent a jet for a private plane for Felix just for him to attend Louis Vuitton in the fashion show? He declined because of their schedule or something, and that they sent him a private jet just for him to come. Um, do you think BTS will go to the next Met Gala? I don't know, but I don't think so. Primarily because what for? I don't think they're gonna. I guess to help raise funds for the Met. BTS tour topic moves to Wednesday. Yes, we all. But yes, I spoke too long about RM. So we'll talk about that next week. But that's also interesting. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I am about to wrap up. Yeah. I'm wrapping up. So thank you for being here. Fairlyn, I just saw that Wasa's new songs in the top 5 of Melanin Top 100. So good, right? The song is so good. Please check out the song of Wasa. Okay, maybe RM would go for the Met. What if each of their houses sponsor them? Well, if it's a part of their deal, then maybe, right? Okay, thank you, everybody. I'll see you Wednesday. Bye.